let's measure the second peak. So I'm going to draw a marquee around it with the magnifier and go back to my I-beam, and I'm going to close the channels I'm not interested in. And now I'm just left with the one I want to measure. So if you remember what this represents, it represents someone squeezing a dynamometer. And when they squeeze it, they do it with a certain amount of force. And we measure force in kilograms. We could measure them in pounds, but in a more modern way to do it is use kilos. So we're using kilos. So I'm going to use a mean to measure it, and I draw this out. And I get a number up here which is 9.8. So you would report that as being 9.8 kilos, or kilograms, or kg. It's very important that you use the units. This is an ECG, which is a graph of the electrical activity of the heart as measured on the skin of the subject. So what you're actually measuring here is electrical activity. So when we measure the amplitude of this wave, we're measuring its height from here to here in the units of millivolts. A millivolt is 1,000th of a volt, so it's a pretty small amount, but we're measuring it in millivolts. So this represents subject breathing in, out, and so on. And what they're doing is breathing in and out gas or air. And we use liters or milliliters to measure the volume of gas that goes in or out. So when we measure this, what this is the person takes in as big a volume of air as they can, and they blow out as much as they can. And that gives you an idea of what the vital capacity of that person's lungs are. It tells us a lot about lung health. What we're going to do is use P to P to measure that. This is channel set up to P to P. So all I have to do is this, and the computer is going to find the top and the bottom and subtract them, and it's going to tell me that that volume is about 2.5 liters. So from here to here is 2.5, and what you must remember is it's liters, because if you said 2.5, you don't know whether it's 2.5 pounds, 2.5 volts, or what it is. So I think I've probably said enough about units and how important they are to use. If in doubt, ask what the units are. But you can also look over here, and that gives you some idea. On the right hand side of your graph, it will tell you what units it thinks it should be recording in.